So this is day 5 of the 10-day course. We got really into Vipassana. All the prepared meditation for the breathing, Anapana, had honed the awareness to know what's going on in the small area underneath your nostril and above your lip. So we are moving that sensation, pointed sensation, from one point to the next throughout the whole body, from the top of the head. And the Goenka is sharing this in the video. So everybody who goes through Vipassana have the same information, how to do it. It's very well standardized. It's like a boot camp in a way. But it's I believe, a proven boot camp. Otherwise, I wouldn't have joined. And I carefully checked, never attended any other. And even Zen monks in the temples, I moved around, not intentionally, but that's what happened. So, day 5, the technique is the same, scanning the body, head to toe, and vice versa, and pay attention to the blockages within, inside the area, in the area that you are paying attention to. So let's say you have attention here, and moving, and going down. I don't have the blockage, so, but if you find maybe this area, let's say if I find something is not responding, meaning the sensation is unclear, then stay there for a minute or two and move on. So in a way, it's like doing the massage without touching and seeing the response of the skin or inside of the body from the top to the bottom. Are they responding to your paying attention? And let's say if I, for the sake of this discussion, in reality you are sitting, but here, let's say I pay attention with my eyes closed on my hand. You can try it, just the feel of it. And you can do without like a finger, like I was pointing, or you can play with the finger too, to see if there's some activity in there, like a tingling sensation or vibration. And hands tend to be sensitive, so that usually is what I do, like when I go to sleep. Usually I have put my hands down and just feel it, and in a few minutes I may be asleep. But in this case, you're not going to sleep. So just pay attention to the response. And sometimes this response just spread out, that the body is waiting for you to be paid attention to, sort of. But you still maintain the discipline of inch by inch, moving slowly. It may take 15 minutes, maybe longer. And you start over again, or you can start from the bottom to top. And you may do it on surface, but in my case, I was also doing inside the body and into the bones, so to speak. So here's a comment theory. It says law of multiplication. Mind habits amplify effects. Example, anger. Expressing anger fuels it, strengthening, but quietly observing anger would diminish it. It's like a fuel burning out without adding more fuel to it. So one of the discussion here is there's an analogy. If you draw a line on water versus drawing line on sand or rock. I don't remember what it means now. And it says water observation. Oh, okay. Drawing the sand line on sand and rock has some reaction to it. Maybe they translated it wrong on this one. I didn't open up my other original of my 10-day course. So I don't know if I can do it quickly. But anyway, continuously going through, and therefore it's kind of boring, perhaps, if you're going to call that. Oh, here it is. But that's what it is, day in and day out. So once you get this thing going, every day you do it. So here's my original. So I said that I remember it was the analogy of drawing the line on the water compared to doing it on the sands, on the beach, and on the rock. If we repeatedly react with emotion, it is like chiseling the stone to draw a line. You just, you're not detached, you just got involved. So that the quiet observation may be compared to drawing a line on the water. You just quietly observe and letting the negative emotion to go diminish by itself. So I said, if we exercise the law of multiplication, which is to expand your anger and so forth, triggering another anger within the family, friends, or the company, as opposed to each quietly quenching the fire, like don't let the fire to spread, we may multiply the reaction among ourselves. Yeah, so if we don't do that, then we can create more fire. Being aware of what's happening at the sensation level and keeping equanimity by realizing anicca, which is impermanence, for all phenomena, we can negate the law of multiplication, spreading out of the emotion, monkey mind. Instead, we can bring peace and happiness in life. And the memorable event on that day, day 5, tender palms. And I remember this vividly. Let's see how I wrote this. About this time, we started to have 3 devoted sessions every day, each consisting of 1-hour meditation period. Adittan it's called. Nobody was allowed to leave the hall in this period. Due to the pinched nerve combined with my bad sitting posture, perhaps my back was hurting very badly. I then noticed that my hands got very wet easily with sweat pouring out. In the past Zen meditation, I occasionally noticed this tender and the sweaty moist palm situation. I thought it must be something to do with the enhanced metabolism. That could be. But I thought it could be also I was so enduring the pain. Sometimes you get sweaty in your hand. Anyway, because of the sweaty hands as well as my back pain, I decided to put my hands, placed over my knees as opposed to holding them together in front of me, like a Zen style. I remember that. I found that this gave me more balance to straighten up my back. Instead of doing this, but going like this, it's more balanced. My back, and at the same time, helped drying out the sweat in my palms. When I changed to this posture, I then realized that my hands were so sensitive and very easy to detect any subtle sensation. Yeah, the hand soft, wet, sensitive. Perhaps around this time, in one evening, see this I'm writing after 10 days without making any notes. So as soon as we finished and going back with my friend who took me out there, I started to write down what I did every single day. And this person was amazed that we had a good talk on the way back. Anyway, around this time, one evening, I heard crickets singing continuously outside the hall as we meditated. The singing of a cricket was continuous, and I felt my whole body was covered by that sound, the vibration. What was very interesting was that I felt I could hear the sound through my sensitive parts, like vibration of the sound. That's real. I felt like the cricket was there. I do remember. And tears come up. What it means is that I was so dedicated and fully engaged, nobody to talk, just looking in myself, what's happening. And the cricket and the sound, sensitivity, hand, mind sensitive, and engaged in that process. When I shared this story in the interview, I was talking with the teacher, assistant teacher. He said that he had the same experience as well. I don't remember that part. There is a Zen koan about realizing the whole body as full of hands and eyes. See, that was what I was talking about today or yesterday. Whole body is I in the other video. And then I was revisiting in some little exercise, but that's another story. But here, what did I say? Yeah, whole body as full hands and eyes. And yeah, I even have where I found that one. That is Mr. Nakayama, my mentor, page 53. He wrote a book about koan called the Koan Kenkyu, study of koan, without explaining everything, but just hint he shared with me. I don't remember that one as much, but see, I was so devoted, so now I forgot this koan, but maybe I'll find it. The book is somewhere back in California, if I can find and remember this. Perhaps this may be related to the point of distinction between intellectual wisdom and living wisdom, or you can call it experiential wisdom, or direct experience of the wisdom. Not in the mind to think you got it, you understand it, but it doesn't have a root to connect to. So you may just leave it in the knowledge library, and you feel like you can talk anything about it, you know it, but you may not be able to live with it. So that's the difference of the intellect and the living or the direct or experiential wisdom. Oh yeah, that's what I said, yeah. Or experience in the intellect level and the direct experience. When I developed a sensitive palm, the tingling sensation was like very tiny bubbles bursting in the water, my palm, and creating a chain reaction to spread that sense to wider areas. See, they are connecting to each other like neurons, so that the fire burning example is going in the right direction. Here, the truth feeling and happy of being noticed about my paying attention to. So the vibration spread triggers other intuitive response from the body. So this eventually led to the experience on the 8th day, which will come later, when I felt as if my whole body was covered by this tender skin. Let me see if it's still working. Yeah, this tender skin, and that the sensation that swept over me was so electrifying that it made me feel like I was making love with the whole universe. So wait until the day 8 when I talk about it. What was it like? Perhaps one can argue that this is something to do with the autosuggestion or hypnotism. Yeah, I thought about it. And I said, I am open for comment. Because dealing with unconscious is a tricky thing. If you have a faith mind of being deceived by the wrong information or experience, you might come up to different solutions. So that's the danger of what we call the religion. So just focusing on technique is much simpler. That's why Vipassana can accept people from Christianity and Hinduism and Judaism and Islam, and that's what's happening, because it's not to do with any dogma, but just the experience of it to open your eyes. So anyway, so that's the situation. But of course, as human and with brain, we may hear the problem of autosuggestion or hypnotism. So I was one of them. Also, there may be a discussion coming up, but Goenka ji does the chanting in the morning and at certain occasion, and it's called and you're just sitting, listening to it. And maybe this comes up later in the discussion, but I felt like this is great, but is it the way that they are tricking me into this hypnotized state? And I think there's an element of truth to it. Because when you have to change the habit, you are going against the habit developed over time. So how do you jump to the next level or different situation? You need to open up your mind. So all the, priests and those people may seem like, they have this nice clothes, tools and stuff, and gong and singing, and you feel like, this is so good, this must be right. So they do that. And there's a danger. So I'm also having this scientific mind, and I don't want to be tricked. And I studied a lot before this, reading, books and stuff like that. And I jumped into it. You signed that I won't leave until I finish 10 days. So it's a commitment. So you better check, as Buddha says, check on your own. And sometimes people leave because they couldn't stand. My son did. He was in Nepal, I think. And he told me, but then went back there and did the full course. But depends on the situation. Some people may have to be out, or they want to go out. So here is that one. I don't think this is the koan that I was talking about by Nakayama. Yeah, maybe not. But anyway, I was referring to this koan, like knocking the wood. When you hear that sound, who is listening? That's a koan. And if your answer is my ear, and the priest or the master say, chinin chinin, try again next time. So that's the way, whether or not they can grasp the sense, and you hear with the whole body, as I was talking about, whole body is I, whole body is the sensory mechanism. And that's way beyond the realm of the mind. So that was day 5. I think it's interesting, even for me. All right. So next one is day 6. And day 7 combined together, perhaps it looks like it. I hope you find it interesting. It's up to you. Everybody's taste is different, but you may get some sense of different dimension, different world, and what it might be. But the wrong imagination may not help. So it just has to be connected to direct experience. And in my video, I like to share my experience of what I call direct experience along with the theory. So my approach of this is very open talk. And when I write it down, some description so that I can post, it takes so much time actually to configure why I did what I did. Because when I just talk, it just comes out. And there's no inhibition. And I trust my heart to tell and have some, knowledge. So anyway, let's move on to the next one tomorrow, perhaps. Thank you.